it's going to be a big event, isn't it? Absolutely massive, you know. But I hope Conor wins it. You know, I've got to be careful how I answer the question, because I've got lots of Irish friends and Irish fans, and I am a fan of Conor's. I think he's a real person, real character. I think he's great for sport in general. But he's fighting the best pound for pound. Well, he's recently retired, but I mean the best pound for pound fighter, arguably one of the best of all time. And Conor hasn't had a professional boxing match. This is a professional boxing match, and I can't help but, and I hope I'm wrong, because I hope McGregor does knock him out, but I can't help but think, you know, that we got fighters like Canelo, Saul Alvarez, who didn't win a round against Mayweather. You know, me with me hustle and bustle 100-mile-an-hour style, I couldn't solve the puzzle. Probably one of the best technical fighters in my era, Oscar De La Hoya, he couldn't find out the puzzle. So I find it hard to see how Conor is going to do it, not having a professional fighter. His name, he's a really good puncher, but in his own sport. And I can't help but think, you know, with someone like Mayweather, maybe it's just a bridge too far for Conor. Mayweather doesn't take any chances, doesn't he? I mean, the only chance, the chance that Conor has got is if Mayweather gets a little bit sloppy, you know, probably goes to goal to try and finish Conor, and Conor gets you know, a dig in, because if he does hit him, he has everything in his power to knock him out. But the thing is, Mayweather can sometimes be a bit negative, you know. I mean, he's not bothered. He's unlike me. I wanted to impress the crowd, where Floyd's not bothered as long as he wins and he gets paid, isn't it? You know what I mean? So I think I can't see Floyd getting sloppy and making a mistake where, you know, Conor can nail one with him, because he's very, very safety first, very defensive minded, you know what I mean? And I think Floyd is a very clever fighter who know that the only chance Conor has is if he takes any chances. It's all about ego, I guess, with Mayweather. He won't like losing a battle, whether it be in the ring or out the ring or verbally, anything like that. And think out of the ring, Conor's beating him in every department, isn't he? You know, Floyd can get in people's heads with, you know, disrespecting them and saying this and saying that, but Conor does it with a twinkle in his eye and a smile in his, you know, on his face, doesn't he? Which is, I have no doubt, you know, Floyd will be putting a brave face on, but behind closed doors, when he's had a little quiet minute to himself, I think Conor's ears will be twitching a bit, to say the least. Yeah. I think when you look at sport in general, I think it's probably one of the biggest events, you know, from a pay-per-view perspective and a ticket sales perspective. But I just think the two sports, do you know what I mean? Every time, there's been a few boxers that have had a go at UFC, you know, mixed martial arts, and they've always come second best. They've not done bad when it's like that, but then when they've tried to grab him, they've always come off second best, the boxers. And most boxers that have given it a go, they've not been too successful with it. And, you know, what the same could be said, you know, maybe about what could happen with Conor and Floyd, to be honest with you. You know, Conor's not going to be able to grab him. You know, he's not going to be able to get close to him as such. But Conor is a very, very good puncher. I think that's probably one of his best attributes, even though he's a UFC fighter. His best attribute is his punching. He's a very good puncher for a UFC fighter, but you're fighting Floyd Mayweather. If anybody's going to, you know, come out the UFC sport and do well in boxing, it is Conor. Because he is a good puncher, but it's about levels. You look who he's in with, you know, that could be the difficult thing. You know, if I went into UFC or mixed martial arts, if you remember my style of fighting, mine was very close quarters, body punching up close, a lot of grappling and holding. So if anyone was going to do good at UFC, coming from boxing, it might have been me with my style, but I must admit I wouldn't have fancied it. Do you know what I mean? I had a couple of the lads that have come down here, Michael Biskin, Paul Sass come down, and he was showing me his triangle move, and he got me and he bent my head over and the blood stopped running from my head, and it was a very pleasant surprise. I said, how many moves have you got of them? He said, oh, about 16, 17. I thought, wow. And that's from a boxer going into that sport. It opens your eyes, makes you realise, you know, you're probably safer in your own sport, you know. And but, you know, listen, I'm going to be watching the fight. And the one thing is with Conor at the press conference, there is a little bit of, everything seems very over the top and massive, doesn't it, in the build-up of this fight. But I think when you look in his eyes and you listen to his voice, he really believes he's going to do it, which is making it more interesting from my point of view. Do you know what I mean? You look in his eyes, the way he's talking, you know, he's not looking out of place. He's verbally bullying Mayweather, or trying to, because you can see in his face he genuinely believes he's going to win it, you know, which a man that believes that and has that such belief in himself like Conor has got, you never know, you know. But if you're asking me to judge it from a technical point of view, I think he's going to have his hands full. Mayweather is the best when somebody aggressively comes at them. You know, if you remember my fight, you know, probably one of Mayweather's best performances, because I made him have to fight. You know, sometimes when he fights someone, it's a bit of a chess match. You know, the fights can be a bit of a stinker with Floyd. But when he's got somebody like a Miguel Cotto or myself that's flew at him, that's when he's come out and looked his best, which is another sign for, you know, because if Conor goes aggressive. But I think, I just, you know, I think if Conor goes out there, tries to be aggressive, it might work into Floyd's hand. So it's very, very hard, because we've all fought Floyd and we've all got our own different styles. You know, Canelo, not just, he's one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world presently today. The weight advantage, the size advantage, the reach advantage, he had it all against Mayweather, and he's one of boxing's best pound for pound fighters, and he didn't win a round really, you know. So it's very, very hard to sort of like, you know, he's a very good all-round fighter, Floyd. He doesn't have many weaknesses. It's very, very important you have a good coach to get you in shape and have a game plan and a little bit of a system where you can talk to. But most fighters, I find, at the very, very highest level, they always work it out for themselves. You know, when you're in there in the heat of the action, you're working out the fight, the tactics yourself, and your trainer might just throw a few little bits of advice at you that you might pick out the air a little bit here and there, and that's generally how it works. At the fighters that need telling everything by the coach generally are not the elite, if you like.